A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I warmly welcome you all to another exciting session of the Research Week 2024. So, this session is called Human Library. Human Library is a very new concept for us, for the undergraduates, for the researchers and everyone. It's a very new concept for the University of Moratuwa. Keep aside University of Moratuwa, I think this is another concept for us as Sri Lankan students. Some of you might have heard of the name Human Library before, but some of you all might not. So I think it is a good chance to get to know the human library and human book and everything related to that today through this session. So I'm very sure as soon as you heard the word human library or human book, there could be a couple of questions popping into your mind. What is this? What exactly are we going to do here? So keep those questions to yourself for another minute or two. We'll be diving deeper into the session within another couple of minutes. But before that, let me call upon Professor Gayatri, the Research Week chairperson, to welcome and address the gathering.
Good morning to all of you. I cordially welcome respected professors, lecturers, staff members, and dear students for today's program. I warmly welcome our distinguished invitee, Professor Nettika Vitanage from University of Sri Lanka. On behalf of the University of Moratuwa Research Week 2024, I sincerely thank Professor Nettika for being with us today. It is a pleasure to welcome all of you to this unique and thought-provoking event, Human Library. The concept of human library is profoundly powerful and innovative. It transformed the idea of a book into something living, breathing, and personal. A person with a story to tell, like you, wisdom to share, and lesson to impart. The human library allows a person to act as a book. The human book enables us to share sensitive, logical, and challenging information, which can't be experienced by reading a printed book. That is the difference between printed book and human book. The book is in that sense, in this sound dialogue, the book takes the form of a human. It says that the book is in anthropomorphic form, just like our distinguished invitee, making the experience truly interactive. Professor Nettika, we are truly fortunate to have you in our Human Library event, and we are looking forward to being inspired, enlightened, and transformed by your words and stories. Let us open our minds and hearts as we embark on this enriching journey together. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. As I mentioned earlier, the human library or the human book, these concepts gives us a couple of questions to be asked. We need immediate answers. What exactly is this? What are we going to do at a human library? So I believe we can ask from an expert on that. So today we have Dr. Nayani Gunawardana here. She's about to enlighten us on what human library and what human book and what are we going to do here. Dr. Nayani, over to you.
Thank you so much. Very good afternoon to all. The greatest wisdom often lies in the stories we haven't yet heard. So today we are open ourselves to untold chapters of human experiences. So Professor Gayatri mentioned so many things relevant to the human book, but then I'm going to discuss some new things about what is human library. So a human library provides an opportunity for readers to borrow a human book for a given time and to hear their story. So originating in Denmark in 2000, the human library allows individuals known as human book to share their life experiences directly with readers in a safe, structured environment, enabling participants to ask questions and gain a deeper understanding of perspectives that may differ from their own. So the human library is a place where real people are on loan to readers. Through listening to the experience of the books, the reader is able to connect to its subject in a deeply personal way because these books say a lot more inside than their cover outside. The goal of the human library is to create a safe space for open dialogue where books meet the people with unique life experiences, share their stories, allow readers, mean the participants, to ask questions, learn, and challenge any preconceived ideas they may hold. So, books teach us through words. Here, the people teach us through their lives. Here the books speak and the stories come alive. So today we open the cover of this living book. The book is Professor Mentika. So and embark on a journey through lives, experiences, and perceptions that will inspire, challenge, and connect us. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. So with that, I believe the sky is clear. Questions have been answered. I think now we have a kind of knowledge what exactly we are going to do today with the human library and human book. So I think now it's the time to recognize our human book today. So for that, I cordially invite Professor Udayangani Kuladunkan to read the author citations.
Professor Methika Vithanage. Professor Methika Vithanage is a professor and the founding director of the Ecosphere Resilient Research Centre at the University of Sri Jayawardenepura, Sri Lanka. Professor Vithanage's influence extends far beyond her home institution, as evident by her role as an adjunct professor at the Institute of Agriculture, University of Western Australia. With a multifaceted academic background spanning water, chemistry, environmental remediation, and waste biomass conversion, Professor Vithanage has earned international reputation for her groundbreaking contributions. Recognized as a highly cited researcher by Clarivate, she positions within the top 0.1% of highly cited scientists globally. Further, she is ranked in the top 10 authors of the world for biochar research. Professor Vithanage has 2 Korean patents and 1 national patent. She has brought over 400,000 euros worth of grants to Sri Lanka. Further, Professor Vithanage has won many awards, including the prestigious award for her pioneering research on biochar from the World Academy of Science in 2020. The publication record comprises of over 275 indexed journal articles, more than 60 book chapters, and 10 co-edited books. So, dear Professor, it's a great pleasure for us to have you here with us.
Thank you, Professor. So now, with that, we are moving on to the next segment of the event, launching the human book. For that, I cordially invite Dean, Faculty of Tertiary Studies, Professor Ivan Gokulan, to here, as well as Professor Methika is already here. So now we can hand over the human book in a ceremonious manner. Through Professor Udyangani's speech, I believe everyone got to know more about our human book today, Professor Methika Vithanage. But I believe if all the guests present here today would appreciate a a beautiful introduction from you, madam, about yourself. I believe everyone would agree with that. So now I pass over the mic to you, just to have a small introduction and enlighten us about yourself.
Thank you very much, Professor Gokula, Dr. Naini, and esteemed professors and academic staff here, and the students. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I have never known about Human Book and Human Library until Naini called me and invited me for this event, and then I was searching what a human book is and a human library is, because we are working on science research, not on libraries, and not much on physical libraries and library science much. So this is something new. So I started learning something new from your invitation, from your concept. So it's amazing. And I'm very thankful for giving me this opportunity. So I have a presentation. May I go through it? Okay. So this will be like my story from the school time. Okay. So I have titled this as Beyond Islandic Trauma, because I feel really we are inside an island and with a kind of a trauma, because we have this islandic feeling of whatever we do, and majority of us is now having kind of an inferiority and insecurity feeling. Maybe it is because that we are in an island, apart from separated from others. But so I thought of expressing my life as beyond islandic trauma, rising from local impact to global influence. So today, what I'm going to discuss, tell the story about myself for you to gather some experience to go towards the international context. Because as academics, we can't live very local. Right? We are on science, so library is science, sociology is science. Right? That is why we call it social sciences. Right? Management is science. So everything is science. Science means you are global, you are international, you are universal kind of. So we can't live only within this island, thinking about what we have here and how to proceed with whatever we have. We need to go beyond this island and make it like we are international. We have that international capacity to go ahead. That is what my plan is today. So this is, as a book, I have a dedication. So this Mettika Vitanage book is dedicated to my parents, my mentors. Without the mentors, I will not be anywhere, right? So parents and mentors are the backbone of myself. So, and whoever that support me, not only parents, not only mentors, I have been supported by many people, even from the bus driver to, from minor staff, like the people who are sweeping my lab, doing all sort of support is a big thing for me to, stand like this. Without their support, I will not be here. So that is why I dedicate my book for whoever supported me in this journey. I have 3 chapters to discuss or to tell as a story. Chapter 1 is Roots of Resilience, which means my school level, my undergrad, and my master's and PhD. So that is what I'm going to discuss about rising above challenges. And then chapter 2, my breaking barriers. How did I break barriers in Sri Lanka? And whatever I get as barriers, how I pass through them. And then as chapter 3, from local impact to global vision. I'm sure all of you have different struggles in life. Everybody, not only myself, everybody, every single of us have unique challenges in our lives. So I'm trying to give my experience for you to, be successful from your challenges. So these are the 3 chapters that I'm going to discuss today. So this is the very first one. From the school level, I was discovering myself. I was trying to discover myself. So I had 3-4 questions that I always asked from me. What are my interests? Am I interested to become an academic, or am I interested in becoming, actress in dramas, or am I a sports person? And what were my preferences? What are my strengths? I know I'm not very good at maths. No, not like people in University of Moratuwa. I'm very afraid of maths. So not maths at all. So no maths. I have decided saying it's strength. And then I had a question: what are the careers that interest me? Where do I go? And then what are the majors that I want to explore? I'm not maths, so what about bio or something else? So these were the questions that I was raising during my school level. So I was a basketball player, and I played for national level, national pool in basketball in Sri Lanka. And then I was doing dramas as well. So we had many struggles because I was from Devi Balika. But my primary education was very small school in Udahamulla called Siddhartha Vidyalaya. So I got my scholarship passed and went into Devi Balika. You all know Devi Balika, how it is. They are very studious people in Devi Balika. Not like me. We were always in the basketball court. And it was very hard for us to even start basketball team playing with shorts in Devi Balika, because there were teachers coming, running, oh, why are you with shorts? So we had to struggle to make a basketball team, and we were going into different levels of tournaments. And then finally we succeeded in getting the championship in the All Island basketball tournament, where I was the captain of the team. So you might recognize me in this middle, and then I was playing for singing competitions, and violin and all these things because of my father. He wanted me to be in these aesthetics as much as possible, but not basketball though. So he has never been into any of the matches that I have played in basketball, unfortunately. Though we won, So those are the struggles that I had. I had conflicts at home playing basketball, and then in the school I had conflicts. Being a naughty girl, like always cutting periods, going into different classes and so on. So during that time, I was thinking, what should I go for my A levels? My father wanted me to do languages because he was from this languages background. Then we had a big library in my place. So I said, no languages. I can't be a person like you. So I will do something different. So I choose bioscience. Then he was really angry, and he, gave the whole library to army. So one day the army truck came and brought the whole library, which was at home. So these are the conflicts that I was facing during my childhood, apart from the conflicts at school from the teachers. But I struggled. A levels first I was not selected. I had two Bs, one C and one S. I was not selected. Then I had to do it once more to show my father that I can do it. Because my father came and told me, you couldn't go to university. That means you are not successful. So that's why I told you to do arts, not science. Then I had to take that challenge. I took it as a challenge and then did the second shy. So selected to University of Verona and then to Japura. But I decided to move into Sabaragamu University of Sri Lanka. I wrote to the UGC saying I should go to Sabaragamu University because I didn't like going to a close by university, especially because of my father having problems with me and then conflicts, and also basketball. So all these other universities had basketball apart from Sabaragamu, because Sabaragamu was the very new university at that time. I was in the second batch. So we didn't have big ground, and we were away from the main university. We were at Buttala campus as Faculty of Applied Sciences. So in this Faculty of Applied Sciences, I was looking at discovering what do I have as passion, because we didn't have many lecturers. First few lecturers we had, and they were doing practicals for us. So during the weekdays, it was practicals. Weekends, some big shot as a professor comes as a visiting lecturer. Within 2 days, 30 hours, full 30 hours was covered. Right? So it was like from 7 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, we were in the lectures. But it was very fascinating because we had time to, talk to him. We were having lunch with this professor, whether it was male or female. They were very esteemed professors that who came as visiting lecturers. So it was like passion development, discovery was at that time was okay. I should go ahead with earth sciences. That was, came into my body because we had many field visits. So we enjoyed all these field visits that Sabaragamu University was giving us for almost each and every subject in natural resources. We had soil sciences, we had biodiversity, we had gemology, minerals, rocks and minerals. So everything we had field visits. So that was very interesting. And the other thing was we had ample amount of leisure time because of these, only the beginning was only the practical. So ample amount of leisure time. And the fascinating thing was we had a nice and a library with very new books. So that was really nice to have. And there was no, only 30 people were in the faculty. So myself, I thought of, running into the library all the time and start reading. So this was the time I started writing many newspaper articles. I have translated few books, especially for teenagers. At that time, we had this civil war going on. So all my lifetime, the beginning, the first 30 years, we were in this civil war. Everybody else of you, majority is like that. But we didn't have a literature based on the war. We had war, but how we feel the war, how we feel the pain of the like security checking everywhere, and then knowing that bombing and people who we know is being killed, and so these kind of things we had no books to read. So I started looking at some of the books that in the library that we had in Sabaragamuwa University Faculty of Applied Sciences, and I found some interesting teenager novels which have been written regarding the Second World War. So I took those books and turned it into, translated into Sinhalese. And one of these books, the very first one, Kandaguri Nikma, was awarded as the best translated teenager novel in the literary awards. So I started doing different things in Sabaragamuwa University when I had this leisure time. Then I got a call. I got a call one day to the university premises. We had a phone box. There was no hand phones at that time. I got a call saying, we are looking for you to, have a inter-university team of basketball to go for the national games. I was in Buttala. And then I felt very, enthusiastic because I was feeling bored. And then I came here to University of Moratuwa because we had this basketball team with many different universities. We collected people who played basketball, and there was a coach at that time here. So she was teaching us, coaching us, and then we came into the fourth place of the national games from basketball, being the team of university students during, I think it was in 2000, as I remember. So these are the strengths that I earned from University of Sabaragamuwa, and discovered my passion of writing from the bachelor's level. And then I gained a lot of practical knowledge by all these field visits, and and then we were in the union. We were posters were brought from the mother campus to applied science faculty by bus. Myself and some of my colleagues, even at night we were traveling. Despite no basketball court, I was going for the basketball matches and captained the university basketball team, and we represented the national game. So these were some of my career, feelings that I have nicely from Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka. Being very distance in it took like 8 hours to go from here to Sabaragamuwa University at that time, especially to Buttala. So it was 1 day to go and 1 day to come. So we were not traveling much. Like coming home was very not very common. But what I did was when I didn't have lectures or practicals, I was traveling around Buttala. So I knew many farmers there because I was traveling alone. In many places, I took my bag and then get a bus and go to Badul, go to Ravanal, and then coming back like back and forth. I was doing many sort of different environment related activities because that enhances my knowledge, because I was learning natural resources. So wherever I go, I feel like there is something new in the environment. So I actually had a lot of things taking into my physical body and my psychological body during my travel. So even today, the main hobby of mine is travel. So whenever I have some stress, whenever I have some time to travel or time to do something else, I start traveling. So we all must have something as a hobby. Otherwise, we will fail because we have a lot of stress from various different ways. We have stress at home, we have stress at the working place, even on the road we have stress. So we need something, something different for us to, feel good. Otherwise, we will always have issues, and mentally, we will be not feeling very good. So these are what I learned from my school and my bachelor's level. Then I was moving into masters and PhD, so I made it as dribbling through life's obstacles, because there were so many obstacles I had when I was doing my masters and PhD. The very first one is the family struggle that I had. I'm the only child of my family. So my father got sick, and he was bedridden. He had a brain tumor, and then he passed away when I was doing my, when I was in the middle of, finished my bachelor's, but nothing, I was trying to find a master's. Then I didn't, there was a lot of loans at home, so I had to pay the loans back from whatever I got from his, EPF. And then I didn't have any money to do the master's. So godfather was one of my friends, my best friend's father. He helped me to overcome the financial help. He paid the master's course fee for me to start doing the master's. So that is how I started my master's, and I did well in the master's. Master's research, I got the best young geologist award. Even in the bachelor's, I was awarded as the best performer in the university in 2000, in the year 2000, because I was playing basketball, having colors from the university color night, and then I had written books. So there was diversity of work that I have done. So that may be the reason I was selected as the best performer in Sabarikam University of Sri Lanka. And then in masters, I did the master's research very well. I was able to publish two, SCI journal articles from the research. So that is where I was selected as the best young geologist in the year 2005. That research articles, those two research articles paved my pathway to be selected for the PhD scholarship. That scholarship was for, the tsunami. It was just after the tsunami. It was about the effect of tsunami on groundwater, and the groundwater modeling was involved. I didn't know though, because as I told you earlier, modeling is related with maths, which I'm really, poor at. So, but apparently, the PhD research I was selected among 41 candidates that they interviewed from 17 countries, because this was an open application for anybody who would like to, they could apply. And finally, before coming into this one, this is the tank experiment that I was running at Colorado School of Mines. This tank is 5 meters long, 1.2 meters high, and it is a 2D tank, so it's only 2 inches in width, but it had 90 kilos of sand. So I had to design the, how to put the sand, and putting the sand and taking out, scooping the sand, in this 2 inches width, I had to do all the time when I run the experiment. So I was a little fat at that time, but you can see how thin I have become in the tank experiment after running the tank experiment. I lost like, I don't know, about 20 kilos probably. So this work gave me, made me an international awardee for the from the American Geophysical Union. They had the very first award that they were given for natural hazards focus group. Myself was selected as the best graduate student on natural hazards because of my publications and the findings of what I had for the effect of tsunami on groundwater. And then that's the life of PhD. Everybody who has the PhD, everybody knows how hard it is, especially at the end of the PhD period. It's terrible. You have a lot of sleepless nights. Finally, I was through, and then I returned back home because I have only my mother to look after, so I had to come back. And then I had been struggling with the system that we all have here. So I had to I had to break barriers. We all know what the barriers we are facing here in this system. Though we are now talking about digitalizing the country and then going forward with a lot of technology innovations, we all know how hard when you do an innovation, how hard to get it through the system. So we had to break barriers. So breaking barriers is lifelong. Until you die, you had to do this. Breaking barriers is continuous. So every day you had to do it. So what I have is like I'm speaking out. That has a lot of cost of courage. I'm sure you know about me being speaking out, especially in the COVID period. And then with the Express Pearl and a lot of many different environmental disasters, environmental issues when arise. I'm speaking out even with the last government when the agriculture policy where the government changed the agriculture into artificial fertilizer, from artificial fertilizer into organic fertilizer overnight. We did a big struggle and was able to change it somehow, but the effect is still we are facing. So speaking out is one of the way of breaking barriers, but you need to pay a lot of cost by doing it. But that is one of my way. So I keep speak out, talking straight. I always stand, for the truth. Sometimes, it may be a negative point for you, but you can be satisfied by yourself. You can be self-satisfactory by doing so, because you always know that you have stood for the truth. And then I had to, in our university system, especially in University of Sri Jayawardenepura, when we were recruited as lecturers in 2017. Prior to that, I was working as a researcher in National Institute of Fundamental Studies. So when I came into the University of Sri Jayawardenepura, there was a lot of resistance because they were saying that we don't need researchers. This is a teaching university. So this has nothing to do with research. Then I was asking, then why do you guys take research allowance? It is something conflict of interest. If you are teaching, the research allowance is for research. Doing research. And if you are teaching, why are you taking the research allowance? So this is how the arguments and discussions went through. So being University of Sri Jayawardenepura as a teaching university, there were not big grants they were interested in, but we were not given any lectures. So we were just coming in the morning, having a cup of tea and eating with some of the colleagues, and then going in the afternoon. So this was not my style of living. So I thought of, okay, I should write some grant proposals. Then I was keep writing grant proposals. I wrote 4 grant proposals and all 4 were successful unfortunately or fortunately. Because, being successful in your grants, you get money, but you don't have a place to work. You have to do research, right? Being an environmental chemist, I need a lab. So it was not very, nice time. But, shattering the stereotypes at the university, I was able to get the grants, get the research in the university to be run, and then many awards. So, this is how it is right now. So, I'm being the topmost author in the University of Sri Jagannathapura. You can see the scholarly output and maybe the index and so on. The performance indicators show that, about 39% of my work is being considered as topmost cited in the world. And more than 50% of my work is being published in top 25% of the journals in the world. So this is not only my work, this was supported by the non-academic staff of the University of Sri Jagannathapura pretty much, because whenever I have a problem in my lab, I just need to call one of them and then they start running down to my lab and fixing it. So a lot of support from the non-academic staff and the vice chancellor, the existing, right now the vice chancellor is Professor Padmalal Manage, and the previous vice chancellor, Professor Sampath Amaratunga, they supported our research. So we were able to do something for the country, for the university, to make the country visible to the world. And then I was, because of this research, I was able to bring some awards and visibility to the country and to the university. So I'm very proud of these awards. One of these awards, the Al-Kharafi Award, there was an open, petition from Sri Lanka to this TWA saying not to give this award to this lady because she was against the Muslims. I'm not against any ethnic group. I'm just a researcher. But, because of this COVID incident, there was this, thought, there's thinking that I'm against the ethnic groups. But at that time, even I had a Muslim student, I had a Tamil student working in my lab. So I'm a researcher. I don't have any ethnic, or any sort of differentiating issues for the community. So this is the transforming rejection into resilience. We were rejected most of the time from our society, especially from the academic society, especially back in my university. I could not have any place to start my research. So once I thought of moving out from University of Sri Jagannathapura, because I couldn't do anything. I was just hanging around, and people are not really friendly. Even they don't sit aside, besides us. Even now, they don't sit besides us in faculty boards, in meetings, because they feel others will, blame them. So this is the genuine incidents that I am facing in this country right now. So I couldn't wait as a researcher. I can't stop my, my whatever the way I work. So I went to my dean and said, I'm moving out from this university. There's a call from University of Colombo. So I had this application, and then he said, okay, oh yeah, move out, please go. And then he signed it, and then I went with the application to the vice chancellor. And he was looking at, okay, what is this? And I said, I'm moving out from this university. And then he said, no way. I did a big struggle to have you in this university, to get you into this university. I can't lose you. So what is this problem? Then I said, I'm a researcher. You took me for my H-index, and then I can't do any research. So I need some place. Then he said, okay, you must think something and then bring that idea to me. So I was thinking, what to do. Then I said, at least a room for me to start doing some thing. Then he said, okay, VC Lodge, there is a room, in the VC Lodge. I'm not using it. You can use one of the rooms there. Then I went, there was some people who are having the rooms for, quality assurance and many different work. So I started working on one of the rooms in the VC Lodge. And then suddenly there was another colleague of mine coming into this place and said, you can't use this. I'm going to, get this room for their own work. Okay. Then I was lost. I went to the VC again and said, I will have the, corner room, which we call is Pilikanna, we all know, right? The backyard. So VC Lodge Pilikanna Tina room එක මට දෙන්න කියලා. So backyard room, I still have it. I have a very sophisticated instrument now in that backyard room. So we were working in that room myself, my research students. Then many instruments were coming from the grants. As the introduction said, I have about, now it is close to $500,000 worth of instruments and money that I have brought to Sri Lanka from international grants. So there was no place to keep these instruments. Then I went to the VC and told him that, I have a I have a, idea. Can I get 2 containers? I will design the container. I will design the inside of the container, how it is. This is going to be 1 container for the students and 1 container for our lab work. Then he said, okay, containers is fine because it is not, the capital money. It's the, recurrent money. So I can, give the permission. So you may, bring me the design. I will go for it. Then, fortunately, I got these 2 containers. So I established the Ecosphere Resilience Research Center, which is the very single body of research, research center who does research. The most number of publications coming from one research center in the whole island is this now. So I was the founding director. Now I have given it to one of my colleagues. I didn't want to keep these positions because I'm not into it. I'm just doing research. Then I had another grant, international grant. From that grant, I bought 2 more containers. So now we have container complex as Ecosphere Resilience Research Center. So this is the very first container complex of labs in this country, and we are now on the go to the world. So then that made me, strengths with the struggles. So we made this, we turned actually the local challenges that we have into global opportunities, showing nothing is impossible in this world. If you have the courage, if you have the need to do it. So I have been listed as one of the top 10 authors who publish research on biochar. So that is because of my experience in biochar. So it is not, you can't do innovations, inventions within 1 or 2 years. It is quite a lot of strength, quite a lot of time, quite a lot of experience that you need. So this biochar product that we have now as a pyrolyzer in the Karadhiana waste management site, together with the group of scientists from here, Professor Mahinsasa Narayana from chemical engineering and Professor Aditya Alvis also from chemical engineering, with scientists from, engineer from NERD, because we are scientists. We can't make our ideas into products. The scientists are not the engineers to make this product in the real scale. We only do science, so we really need collaboration. So that is my passion. I do collaborate with many people. So I have collaborations with Moratua, and then we came up with this 2-ton pyrolyzer now set up in Karadiana. They Karadiana Municipal Solid Waste dump site people, they are now treating or converting the waste that is coming from the compost into biochar and upgrading their compost from using biochar. And now we are going to convert this into a mineral fertilizer, organo-mineral fertilizer, so that they can sell it into the agriculture in this country. And then beyond boundaries, leveraging strength to worldwide impact is important as a researcher. We being researchers, we are getting payments, salary from the taxpayers. We can't just teach students or do research and just publish. So we need to go worldwide, and we have to show our strength. We have to bring money here, and we need to supervise students, send them abroad to improve the visibility and to improve the knowledge. So this is the most recent award that I have been got as a researcher on biochar, specifically with from whatever I have given to science. They have been awarded me, especially the World Academy of Sciences again. This award will be given in 2026, but they have been announcing this award in last month, saying that I have won that award, which is a prestigious award for the country as well. And these are the map of my collaborators, where the collaborators are, the institutes where the collaborators are. So you can clearly see collaborators are from various different parts of the world, because being a researcher in a developing world, we don't have all the facilities, right? So it is either we can just be here, get the salary, teach the students, and do whatever the small amount of research that we can do and stay like that. But it is better if we can, go ahead with our research and go to the international community and show we have also strength. So that is why I collaborate with many parts of the world, especially because of modeling aspects or whatever, advanced instrumentation, even things that I don't know, because nowadays there's a lot of demand for papers, and paper publications is not very easy now because of the upcoming journal, number of papers every day. So I had to do something new every day to get a paper published. So that means I need new knowledge. So new knowledge either I get from one of my colleagues abroad, or I train my students for new knowledge from my collaborators abroad. So that is why the map is so distributed here. And then the last one, the empowering change through my story. I do a lot of talks like this. Human book is one more challenge for me today. So it will give, I hope it will give you some ideas and maybe strengths to know how we are going through, how many struggles, how different the struggles are each of us are facing. So these struggles, you can make it for your own success. So you need to push yourself to be successful from these struggles. So I do train a lot of young researchers as well, especially for scientific writing, which is my passion. And for like path to success and so on, because they need to know how to go ahead with the academic way. So finally, beyond identity trauma, we need to go global. So we need to build our own expertise. So every day I learn new things even by reading or participating these kind of workshops. I learn myself every day. So that's why I'm moving stepwise towards in this research field. And leave out insecurity and inferiority is very important because it is the main issue in Sri Lanka specifically. Especially in the academia, many people are very insecure and very much inferior, full of inferiority. That is why we have all these troubles, and criticizing people. Criticism is good, but not everybody takes it as positive, right? I don't really mind. Anybody can criticize me to me to the down, but I won't be affected because now I'm beyond that. I don't feel that even somebody criticizes me. I don't really feel it. Okay, said okay, go ahead and do whatever you can, because I know no one can harm you. Only you can harm yourself. Right? That is what my belief is. No one would be able to harm yourself. Right? It is yourself that you would do something that would affect you to be harmful. Otherwise, no one can harm. Make you feel negative. So that is my theory of my life. So that I don't really mind who do what, and I don't really care who do what, because I'm not going to look at who other people are doing. What I do is perform my duty, perform what I can do to this country and to the nation. Challenges and failures are common to every one of you here. I'm sure even the students, challenges are very common and failures are also common. We learn it from the childhood onwards. We have to take it as an opportunity. That is the secret, right? If you take everything as an opportunity, then you will be successful definitely. So in my case, I have taken every single issue that has been raised towards me as an opportunity. Even now, I am doing it. Keep your principles. That is very important. Your principles should not change. We are not politicians, right? So our principles cannot be changed. Integrity, we should have our own integrity, right? We should be ethical. If we have these three, then we will definitely be very successful because we have our own principles that which will not change according to the environment, right? And we will be having our own integrity, and we are ethical. We know that we don't do anything bad for the society or bad for anybody, even to us. And then if you have these three, you will definitely be a leader. And you can't be a leader if you are not a good team player. So that team player, I have been learning from my basketball team. Especially, I'm very grateful to my basketball coach, Mr. Supun Vimal. He is the person who changed my life from my school level. Because we had, I'm not a person who can do a lot of sports, but he understood every bit of strengths that each and every team member had. So he was training us towards those specific uniqueness that we had. So that is how I have become a good team player in the school, which I have been now working with my team in the university. I have like 15 research students, and we do all sort of entertainments, going to movies, going on field trips, both. So we work as a team. So that is the secret behind my success as a story, if I am to tell you. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Professor. That was Professor Metika Vitanandi, our human book today. That was quite an interesting story, an adventurous journey, how you tackled all the challenges and everything. So now we open the floor for any questions that we have. So before that, now this is a quite of an unorthodox session that we have today, Human Library. So just like when you take a physical book, you turn pages and read the chapters. Just like that, now we can read the book. So for that, I guess we can ask questions from Professor Metika. So I'm opening the floor for any questions that we have. We can direct it to our human book today.
Any questions you have? I will try to answer from my experience.
Thank you, Professor, for your interesting presentation today. Particularly as the researchers, the book, like this is the book, so no?
Yeah.
So thank you for that one. Now you said you had an inspiring quality from your basketball team. Other than that, for your scientific career, did you have such an inspiring character?
Of course, yes. During my bachelor's, I had a very good lecturer in the first year, who is now the chairman of the Central Environmental Authority, Dr. Tilak Hewavasam. He was my first teacher for earth sciences. The way he taught his earth sciences was very inspiring. So that is where I started. Okay, I will not move into biodiversity. I will be moving into physical and chemical earth sciences. So that is where I started, and then we had a field visit where there was a very pioneering geologist came for that field visit. He was very old at that time, Professor P.G. Kure. He was the topmost geologist at that time. He was a living book, living rock core mineral actually, because he could explain whatever we see in the nature as a rock. He was explaining to us. So we were very fortunate to have him as for our field visit. We went on a the small tractor, tractor again. Field that time I think he was 80 plus. It was very hard for him to walk through the rocks, but he came to do that lecture for us for that field visit. We went to Maligavila for that field visit, and it was very inspiring. Himself, Dr. Tilak Hewavasam, and then we had another lecturer called, now he's a professor in University of Peradeniya, Professor Rohana Chandrajit. He was the person who taught me research at the very beginning. He was my first mentor for research. He was publishing quite a lot of research papers at that time with the support of Professor C.B. Disanayake, who is another pioneering earth scientist at that time, geochemist. So those four were the mentors for my research career in the very beginning. So it was I was very enthusiastic by looking at them, how they do research, how they explain things in the nature to us, especially, how the rocks have been folding, and then these were explained based on the geological age and what has happened in the magma and crystallizing it. So these are the people who inspired me on research. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Metika, for the inspiring lecture. So I have a question. We have young lady researchers also. So we always would like to tell that we are females, so we cannot do this work, or we have limitations. But when I look at your presentation, I saw you have involved in so many different fields. So what is your advice to females? How to manage all these things and do this much of work?
Yeah, that is, it is not possible if you don't have very supporting, sharing husband and parents that who take care of your kids and so on. Otherwise, you will not be able to do much. So the secret is sharing work. So whatever we do at home, I have some share now. My son is supporting me, plus my husband. So sharing is one thing. Um, and what I do is I take advantage of the time that I have. Even if it is limited time, I do take the advantage of it. So wherever I go, I'm with the laptop. Now you have the phone, so you can read anything. But at that time, it was not possible. But with the laptop, you take time off wherever. Even in the bus, I was reading something. So in the beginning, I was going from Buttala to Colombo and Colombo to Peradeniya for my masters. So I was traveling at night from Buttala to Colombo and spend about 2 hours at home and then take the bus to Peradeniya for lectures. So I didn't have time to go through my lecture notes. That's only the time that you spend in the bus. So taking advantage of the time that you have is the very first thing. And then the hard work. There's no success if you are trying to go through any, shortcuts. No shortcuts for success. Success is only through hard work. So, even during my PhD, I had to take samples every hour for 3 months. So I was in the lab. I was sleeping in the lab. I had a friend, fortunately, in Japan. I was in US. So when the night in US, Japan, it is in the morning. So she was calling me every hour via Skype. At that time, it was only Skype. So to wake me up for the sampling. So time management and then going through hardships is, for women, that is a must. That is our life. Going through hardships is our life as women. So, you can't change it. You can't, unfortunately, change it. But, being women, you have that courage. And I really think, and we are, as women, we are multitasking. So that you should take it as an opportunity. So you are multitasking, you have the, strength. So, that is the secret behind. So if you push yourself, if you keep pushing, you can achieve it. You can definitely, the students can go beyond me definitely. That is only the courage, and you need to be tactful to play with the research, because for research you need to keep updated, right? For that you need to read much. So if you if you have at least half an hour for reading new things, then that will give you a lot of new wealth of knowledge, so that you can think, whenever you're cooking, you can think of new ideas for research. Sometimes I get it. Being an environmental scientist, it is much easier. It depends on the field as well. Definitely, it depends on the field. So I'm fortunate to be an environmental scientist, so that I can have lot of research ideas wherever I go. Even in cooking, during cooking, I get research ideas. Why do we use salt powder? Why not, my mom was using salt crystals. Whether these has some issues for microplastics and so on. You keep on thinking. So those are the advices that I can give. Taking advantage of time, the strength that you have as women, and being multitasking. Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you very much again, Professor Vetika, for that inspiring speech. So I have two questions.
Yes.
One is, what is your definition for the word success? Because success is different from person to person.
Yeah.
So I would like to know what is your definition for success, because you are talking about the pathway towards the success. And the second thing is, while you are talking, madam, you have not that much discussed about the teaching part.
Okay.
So I would like to know whether this teaching has impacted to you in achieving the success of you.
Okay. The very first question was how I define success. For me, success means being self-satisfied. So that is what I feel me being success. So I am successful even being a senior lecturer, even being normal person on the road. So I really prefer if you talk to me as Metika, because my name is Metika, not Professor Metika. I don't like that part. So we all are same, right? It is this professor comes when you write something in the paper or something like that. So you can call me Metika. I really like it because that's mine. Right? So I'm a successful person wherever I go. When I drive, I'm a successful driver because I really love driving. So I'm satisfied with driving. Right? I have drove many cars of my colleagues. Even once I got an invitation from my bus driver who was taking me to from Colombo to Buttala all the time because he saw me driving a 40R5 Jeep. I had a 40R5 Jeep because I was, very much interested in going on field visits and so on. So, you can be a successful person at any level if you are satisfied on yourself. So that is my definition for success. Teaching, I had to be very open in this time at this moment. I'm very sad that my university does not allow me to teach. Right? So so they are not giving me any lectures. That is the way that me being treated in my university, right? So I'm given only one lecture series per year, 15 hours lectures per year. That is being given from a different department, food science and technology, which is not very much into my research, my field that I'm working, but they have a component of environmental management, water quality, because food is related to water. So they have asked me to do that lecture series, and that is all. We have an environmental science department. We are not allowed to teach. So that is where I'm not a teacher. I'm not a lecturer. So I'm just being a professor at the University of Sri Jayawardenepura without any teaching. But I have challenged them, saying that you can't ask me when you fill the increment form. You have how many hours you are teaching, what subjects, and so on. You can't ask me because you are not allowing me to teach. But I do teach in many other universities. As a visiting lecturer, I do teach in KDU. I did teach in here in MSc for environmental engineering, and many other universities. I am teaching as a visiting lecturer. So I'm not worth enough to be taught at University of Sri Jayawardenepura, unfortunately. I'm being frank. No one can tell me anything because that is the reality, right? So that is how unfortunate it is, and I'm not being given any research student from the University of Sri Jayawardenepura. All my research students are from other universities. I get now 3 research students, undergraduate students from my university, because I have my school level friends as lecturers, so they know me. Who am I? So they send their students. That's how the reality of this country. That is why I made this presentation saying, Icelandic trauma. So I really feel that insecurity and inferiority is ruining this country, unfortunately. Any other questions? I'm sorry, being blunt and,
because it is quite surprising that this kind of agreement is still there after allowing that. I mean, they are very strong in that sector. But
yeah, many different issues of administration and things like that in academia, brings that there are two chair positions vacant in the faculties and they are not opening those chair positions. They are afraid that I will apply. I'm not applying, I don't need these chair positions. I'm not into these positions. So I'm not applying, but they don't make it vacant. They don't advertise it because they fear that I will apply for these positions. Recently, we had research award ceremony. There's a big, award, the biggest awards in our university's Vice Chancellor's Award for research. So everyone thought that I would apply and no one applied. But I didn't apply because I get, international awards. I'm not really, fond of all these awards that I need to apply and go for. Because I feel like I'm now more towards international context rather than, getting all these local awards. So I let anybody apply, but they thought that I would apply and they didn't apply. So I said, in the awards, I'm not applying next year also, that you go ahead and apply. Yeah.
I'm asking about a very serious question. It's a publication these days.
Yes.
Now the article processing charge, when open access is booming, so
Yeah.
now the low funded researchers have to compete with a small portion of the free of charge articles. So
Yeah.
how do you see this and how do we tackle this? Because some of the APCs are
Yes.
more than
3,000, 4,000 now. Yeah, yeah, that is true. But my view is different, in terms of this open access and, publications. Because I have published more than 300 articles now, and none of the articles I have paid. Because there are ample number of, so many amounts of journals that have both subscription based and open access based. So I'm going for those kind of journals. So those journals, I'm always, going for the subscription based. So I'm not going for any open access fee payments or any of the articles. I have already, published 300 odd. So, better go for the, hybrid journals. There are so many, and in different areas of study areas, you have so many number of journals that, in hybrid. So you don't need to pay and publish. And I really feel like, if my work is worth enough, they will take it. No need of paying. So now I'm being an editor of many journals. I know how editors are looking at, when you see a journal article or manuscript that has been submitted. So now I always teach the students, these are the things that editors are looking at. So you need to address these things in your manuscript so that you are successful. So always try to go for hybrid journal because we can't match with the APC because they are very expensive. Some journals are like $4,000 plus dollars for APC. And now I have a free APC for many journals because I'm being an adjunct professor in University of Western Australia. They have free APC for many journals. So because of these kind of, big universities, we had to pay quite a lot. But still I'm not, taking that APC. Most of the time I have done only twice because then I should put the their email address as the primary email address which I don't feel like doing because I do everything here. All the money, time, and effort is from Sri Lanka, and I don't like putting their email address as the primary email address and get that APC. Still, even University of Sri Jagannathapura doesn't treat me nicely. I really feel like I'm being paid. I'm being given my affiliation as University of Sri Jagannathapura. So that is something I should do for the. Yeah, because gratitude you need to have it. That is something with the success, right? If you have the gratitude, you always feel that you are, with the person that who has faith.
Is there any reason that your real attachment to this land was it's really amazing that why you are just locate yourself in other country that who are willing to treat you nicely and who are willing to treat you as a better scholar. It's really amazing to think about.
The main thing is opportunities. Because I think I have had worked in even spent time in Europe, US, and China and many countries. I think the opportunities that we have here, they don't have. They have money, they have all the facilities, but they don't have the opportunities. Right here, everything is an opportunity for us, right? You as a university of engineering university, whenever you go outside, you have ample opportunities. You see, traffic is an opportunity. You have a lot of pollutants coming in. You have a lot of issues from traffic, right? So that is an opportunity for you. Right? And water, you have a lot of opportunity. Climate, so many opportunities that you have. So you need, and if you can have a team of collaborators that you can, work with without inferiority, without, any issue, then this land is full of opportunities.
That means you are looking for opportunities from the perspective of local context, then it transforms to the global level.
Yes, yes. But now actually I'm sick. I feel really sick. Now I feel like this has to be, there is a limit of everything. I'm 47, 48 now. So I have struggled up to now. So I need some, relaxing time at least by now, right? I have done enough for the country, I feel like. So if I changed my mind, I would go. If I am not worth enough for this country, if I'm not worth enough to, Sri Jagannathapura, why do I struggle, keep on struggling, fighting with everybody, Why do I? Right? Recently in the research awards, they gave an award to top 2% researchers, right? There's no need of giving an award for top 2% researchers because we are being considered as top 2% researchers in the world, right? No need of new award. But Vice Chancellor of University of Sri Jagannathapura and the Research Council thought that, we have to recognize them, right? So that we will have a small award for them. So they gave award for top 2% researchers, including me. And yesterday in the faculty board, this was a huge whole saying, why do you need to give top 2%? Why top 2%? Why not top 5%? Why not top 10%? We are academics. We have to understand, top 2% is not something that University of Sri Jagannathapura has recognized. It is something, Stanford and Elsevier has done, right? So if somebody can do similar to top 5%, top 10% or top 50% or whatever, then that would come, right? So, these are something I really wonder, are these academics? Are we academics? So if we are like that, if we think like that, I am really scared of the new government as well because almost all the academics are now pumped as chairmen, this guy, minister and so on, secretary and so on, right? So if we are academics and if we think in that inferiority, that is sad, right? So normally I told you that I'm speaking out normally, but I didn't speak out yesterday. I laughed at myself, who the hell you are sitting with these kind of people and why are you sitting with these kind of people? Why? There's no point. That they should think that, oh, we have some kind of a researcher that is being recognized, she's being recognized by the world. And I don't need special, treatment, but they can be proud of, right? Unfortunately.
As that will inspire others.
Of course, inspire the kids, inspire the students.
Yes.
Right? That is what we need to do.
And young lecturers as well.
Of course. So they must tell the lecturers, go learn from this person, how to publish an article, go learn from this person how to go global, right? But they don't do. Majority, like 95% of people, some they understand, but they don't speak out because they are, afraid of others.
One question, like I think you have so many experiences how to work with this Sri Lankan thinking. Then with your experience, what would be the ideal research culture that you can have, and what kind of actions you can do from the university side to have that ideal research culture?
Exactly. There is no teaching universities. Universities is universal, right? Universities means that we make students with updated new knowledge, right? So teaching and research both go together in a university, right? So many universities in the world have different segments, right? Research professors, they do research, they work on research, and teaching professors, they do teaching and something like that. If we can establish something like that, it would be perfect. But here we have so many other issues. Go for procurement. It's terrible, right? Right? People, say they are. People come from abroad saying, okay, I left my job. I came to work in Sri Lanka. I came to make this country a prosperity. But they buy things in credit card. And the second day it comes into your doorstep, right? Here, to buy something small even, how much of time you had to spend, how much of papers you had to spend, Yeah. So, these things we need to change. If we don't change those things, whatever the researcher who is trying to do research or teaching, no work, because they have to spend so much of time on these things. Time is very important for not only for researcher, but also for an administrator, for teacher, for a lecturer. Everybody, time is very important, right? Go to the outside, you have a lot of traffic. So you spend a lot of time on traffic, right? So from the beginning onwards, from the procurement, and the spending time on these things, instrumentation, we can buy instruments, then we don't have money to maintain that instrument, right? So high-tech instruments, there are so many high-tech instruments in this country without, working because you can't maintain it, right? So there are ample, number of issues that researchers, teachers, as facing. So those things need to be identified and rectified as soon as possible. But no one in the upcoming administrators in the country, they are not interested in research, right? So there are administrative issues, and then there are personal issues as well, right? So these personal issues also, that is why I told you to segregate like research professors and other professors, academic professors. We don't need that kind of a separation if we understand everybody else's capacity, right? If you are a good researcher and an academic, right? So the head of the department must understand the capacity and divide the work and give, right? Then only we can get the maximum out of that person. That is what we should do as a leader, right? So that is what is not happening in this country. We are very insecure, always, right? So if I'm being the vice chancellor or the president of this country, I will have separate things like that based on your performance and your ability and your capacity. I will understand, and train you into, convert you into different places. Especially in a university, you can do it because you are being here as a community for quite a long time, and you know who has the capacity on what, right? Most of the time, so you can easily grab it, right? It is not what we do. We always go for the status. That is the issue. We always go for the status. That is why you call me Professor Mektika, right? I don't mind it. I don't really need that because I think we are equal in one way or the other, right? I am a good researcher, can be, and I publish, but I don't have the capacity of you, right? So I respect you for your capacity. That self-respect everybody has, right? So if we don't self-respect the person, then they will not respect me, right? That is what I have in University of Sri Jagadhanapura. Every one of the, even from the security onwards, they do whatever I tell, right away. They come running to support me because I have the respect to them. I always treat them, whenever they do something for me, I treat them, I send a cake or something, to respect their support for me. Every one of us have that respect, right? So without going for status, we need to understand that. So research is the same. It's not big difference. We are in the same academic field. So what we should do is we should understand the caliber of each and every person and take maximum out of that person. Right? So in that way, University of Sri Jagadhanapura has treated me nicely, No lectures, nothing. You do, they don't allow me, like they don't support me in my research, but they have allowed me to do research. Without any workload given. But I think, being a researcher, I can cater the students, train the students much better than some of the researchers, some of the academics there. There are some academics who doesn't have a single paper after their PhD. They can't be academics because they can't teach without new knowledge. How do you teach without new knowledge? Right? I have my students going to, University of Peradeniya for lectures on masters in environmental science. I did masters in environmental science 20 years back, right? And they have the same note. The world has changed a lot. Pollutants has changed a lot. There are emerging contaminants, very different now. But they learn the same heavy metals. So that I don't expect from an academic. Academic should be updated and keep on updating yourself to teach the students. Otherwise, we don't produce good students, updated students. Universities should produce updated students. That is what universities are. Otherwise, we are being schooled. Right? Any other questions?
I didn't see any administrative rules in your book. How do you guide
Okay, good topic, good question. When you do research, you are an administrator. When you are a principal investigator of a grant, you are an administrator. You had to do all the procurement by yourself. You have to manage your students, your colleagues, collaborators, right? Managing collaborators is like a department meeting, right? It's hard because they are coming from different perspectives. Right? As an example, the work that we did for this pyrolyzer, there were collaborators from University of Moratuwa, Japura, myself, and then Open University, NERD, Waste Management Authority, and so on. So many people from different fields. So managing those also, and administrator also. So we had to understand. So being handling a grant means you are a manager, right? You are a sort of administrator. As an administrator, I have been running my own center now. Like 5 years I ran my own center, Ecosphere Resilience Research Center. I did all the procurements. Even yesterday I went to, Singer and Damro and Apico to, get some quotations to, buy some chairs for my students. So, being an administrator, I think being the director of the Ecosphere Resilience Research Center, I have run a role as an administrator. I actually was selected as the Director General of National Science Foundation a few years ago. Was 4 years ago, I think. But I requested them to have my salary, which I get from the university, be converted when I'm as the Director General of National Science Foundation. It can be done because it is just a cabinet decision that you are being treated as from the university. So you are able to get the salary. But at that time, the minister said, you should think about the country. You should serve the country without thinking about your salary. This is not a big salary that we get. We all know, right? So I get 3 lakhs when I'm as a university professor. I get 3 lakhs here now. And then there, as the Director General of National Science Foundation, I get 120,000 salary. So should I go with a salary cut to serve the nation? Is a big problem because I'm not asking topping up my salary, being the Director General. I'm just asking the same salary to send it to the NSF.
But there's an existing procedure for that.
Yeah. But at that time, the minister refused it. Yes. So she didn't go. She didn't like going for the cabinet approval. So she said, no, you have to serve. Then I said, okay, you get somebody else and get the service from that person. I'm not into that level. Then I refused. So I think that is another administrator role that I should have played, but I refused it because of it's not that I'm going into money, right? It is my status here just transfer to NSF. That's it. That's what I asked, but it was not. So I forget it. Now, as academics, you have your own administrator roles. You can be the head of the department, you can be the research director, you can be somebody, and dean, and then vice chancellor, and so on. I have been cut all these things from my university because I'm under Office of the Dean. I've been recruited under Office of the Dean. So I'm not I don't have a department. So I can't be the head of the department. Without being a head of the department, we can't contest for deanship. in the University of Sri Jayawardenepura, so I can't be the dean.
Even though you are under the office of dean, dean can whatever nominate or assign you to a department.
Yeah, but they don't do it. So that is has happened. Even you all know that I'm an environmental scientist, right? My papers, if you consider my papers, more than 80% or 70% of my papers is in environmental science. If you segregate my research. And then I asked for professor in environmental science and they refused. Because they said, I'm not in the environmental science department, so I can't get the environmental science as a title. So I was given, then I asked, are you going to give me a professor in the office of the dean? I'm not going to get it, right? How do I go and tell anybody that I'm a professor in office of the dean? And I said, then they said, you propose something else. Then I said, okay, you give it with my bachelor's. And I'm professor in natural resources in the office of the dean. So I have no administrator, future in the University of Sri Jayawardenepura.
So, Professor Netika, some of the things that you face sounds ridiculous to me.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
Yeah. What made you to still sticking to this place? Because the world is waiting for you. I have no doubt that. Even I can go to the world. Why not you?
Yeah, that is why, because of the opportunities, I thought, I can serve better. I can serve better if I'm here. And I like to train, students in Sri Lanka.
But they don't let you to inspire the students.
Yes, I have students, 15 students from different universities. So I don't mind where they are coming from. I just want them to learn research, publish some good research papers, and get scholarship and go for PhD abroad. I don't supervise any PhD students because in my principle, PhD means Doctor of Philosophy, right? So you are teaching a philosophy, not research alone. So I don't take any PhD students locally. I have PhD students that I supervise from abroad as an external supervisor, but no local PhD students I am promoting because I really feel PhDs should go abroad and get the foreign exposure. Foreign exposure means something big. You will understand how to be in a society, in a community where you don't speak their language, right? Where you don't know their culture. And you will talk to a scientific community in an international conference where many are international. Here you have international conferences, many are local, only one or two will be international, right? So they are not international conferences, though the name is there. But the philosophy builds like that. So I don't take any PhD students. I promote everybody, and all my PhD students now in different countries abroad, they have secured a good scholarship. So I train them to grab that scholarship and go abroad. I don't mind they are coming back or not. Few have come back and they have positions in universities now, here in locally. That's up to them. If they like to come, they can come like me and serve this country. So that is what I think. So I really wanted to train the local students as much as possible and teach them the international level of research.
Have you at all at least once felt that this place doesn't deserve me or something like that? I mean, something on the side. Have you ever felt that?
I was, yes, many times when I was in 30s.
How did you overcome that feeling? Because it's a strong feeling.
Yeah, but I didn't stick on those things. I just try to go, as much as international, so that I feel like, I am being recognized by many people. Why do I think about their, consideration? So now, being a researcher, I think everybody of you also try to go to conferences abroad and get an invitation as a keynote speaker from a conference abroad, so that you will feel very satisfied when you have something like that. So I always did, try to go with the collaborators. So most of the times collaborators fund me to go for conferences in the beginning of my career. But now, it is not a big deal. I'm being now I had to decline many invitations because I can't take leave. No, the leave system here. So you need at least 1 month to get leave. So you can't go abroad like that, and we have restricted amount of leave. So I have to decline many. But I have now come to a level that I'm being recognized by internationally. So I'm really do not consider the local recognition. So there was a
Reach
time.
that, yeah. How did you make the journey for
Actually, I think I was keep busy on myself, so I don't have time to think about those things. So I always, when I was in Institute of Fundamental Studies, I had to drive back and forth every week. I was driving back and forth. So, that is the only time I was just doing something else, because when I was residing in Institute of Fundamental Studies, I had the access 24 hours to the lab. So I was in the lab, my students and some students, we have enjoyed, we have, I brought refrigerator just for food and drinks for the students. So I always put the food and drinks, and even the other labs, students are coming from the other labs and enjoying themselves in our lab. So, being busy like that, we go enjoy dinner outing and so on. So there were times, but I didn't think about those things. Keep on thinking. I'm not going behind something for a longer time. If something is negative coming up, then I try to take a change and then go enjoy something else. Otherwise, I can't be working. So even like when I had like several accidents, several surgeries. So surgery is the time that I write my own review article, because I had enough time, like a week, to be at home. Not many people were coming, so I started writing my own review articles. So I have few review articles where I'm the first author, so where I had the surgeries. So that is how I keep myself busy with something. So I don't go for this negative thinking much. Otherwise, you will not be able to survive, because everything is that coming to you from the morning up to you go to the bed to sleep is negative in this country. Nothing, even you watch news, everything is negative. Nothing is positive coming. And talking to somebody, everything is, you are also criticizing some people so negatively, Oh, see that guy, this guy did something, this and that, you negative thoughts all.
Actually, so in these discussions, I was quoting that there are some students are coming to meet us for some counseling matters. So many popular counselors are here. Then, then when they come to meet us with some problems, so we are library are recommending some books.
Okay.
So, but then when we discussing, then I thought, how can we translate your discussion to book? Because then when we see a good position, it's maybe a research or whatever the success. Then when you become a successful point, so we see the success. but we don't know the extra, then the problems, issues you faced. But then we know then our students what they are complaining with us and what they are discussing. So that if I say your story to them, I don't know whether they believe. So they may ask, then how can you become this level without any anxiety or depression situation? So, so because there's so many counselors here. True. So then, how can we address these things? How can we convey this message to them? So I know you may give you evidence because then we have only correct human book. This is not a pure human book, it's a human library because we are discussing so many areas here. So then I know then when we see other spaces, then they're surprised with some issues you faced then to become this level. Exactly. So then actually, so what is the secret? What is the method you follow to strong up your mind to without getting any anxiety or depression situation?
I think it is just being happy. Try to be happy by something that you can be happy. For myself, traveling is what I enjoy. Or else, driving. For me, driving and traveling is what I enjoy. So, when you have a problem, just take off and go. I told you that maths is, making me like here. And, believe me or not, I had to go through these partial differential equations, which I have never learned during my school time, even during my PhD. So I was lost. So sometimes there were times that I could not bear this. What I did was I took the bike and, ride. Keep on riding. Sometimes I kept riding 15 kilometers because I could not bear the model was stucking all the time. Model stuck every time. When I solved some problem, it stuck in the next line. So it was very hard for me. And there was, myself and one another boy was running the same model. And that guy already depressed and he was, he was depressed. He had depression and he was not coming for months sometimes to we were sharing the same room. So I couldn't have the same situation. I went from, Sri Lanka to Denmark to do this PhD. I can't, like him, I can't throw out this PhD and come back. Right? When I got my PhD scholarship, I told my supervisor, it was an email came out to me. And I told my supervisor, sir, I got this opportunity. He said, how did you got it? How did you get it? Then I said, email by email they sent. Email? No, don't believe email. It can be a scam. You ask a letter, in writing to send them from them. Now, and then one person told me, Denmark? Who the hell is going to Denmark for PhD? So, these are the perspectives of people, perceptions of people. So, but I took the opportunity. I went there and so that I can't come back because of these model crashes. So I had to learn it. So even, so I start riding the bike one day and then go home and sleep. And then next day also I don't, feel like coming because I don't have support to run this model. So some weeks were there, like the whole week I was not doing anything by watching a movie or, listening to songs. So there are times that you need support. But if you don't have support, try to have something that you enjoy of doing. So, as a hobby. So that hobby will save you. So that is the biggest point that I can give it to any student. We all go through hell of, issues. By being in this kind of a country, we have to struggle to find a coconut. Now coconut is a big problem. Right? අඩු වෙලාද බලන්නේ unknown, right? So it's a struggle from the morning onwards. You are struggling. Office secretary struggles, meetings, then you don't have time to correct your answer sheets of students and so on, right? So many struggles. But you need to have some time to enjoy your life. So take that time. You have to find some time. You have to give that time for yourself. If you don't give that time for yourself, then you will fail. So that is the advice I can give you to the students or whoever, there are people even, who are 60 years of age, they are facing depression because they don't have hobby. So we need to find something that we are interested in, that soothes our, mind. It may be art, it may be, going to a movie or something that you feel you are entertained, something good for your heart. So that you need. Otherwise, I will not be here. The very beginning in the container box, I rode my bike, my scooty to PETA, to Ford, to buy some analytical balance and simple instruments to my lab to start working. So I'm okay to go in scooty, go in foot bike, go in my car, whatever. Baki karatte una, I will go. Mata ඕනේ නම් කරන්න. I don't mind how I am going, where I am going, how do I do it. So I don't mind in the dress, I don't mind in going, in shorts to grocery, I don't mind. Sometimes people tell me, you are a professor, you going on shorts to the grocery, some of your staff members would see. I'm not in University of Srijadra, but this is my, road to home and this is my village. I'm not naked, I'm going in something. So, this is the way I enjoy. So I prefer in coming, the easy dress I can wear and come for a lecture or talk. Right? So even, wherever I were in, as doing PhD, they were not wearing any suits, coats, anything for their, defense. I was just with a t-shirt and pants. And I went the same way for my interview for the PhD. My boyfriend at that time, my husband now, he told me he's a manager in, in a publication newspaper at that time. So he told me first sight is the best sight or something, some something, Then he said, don't go like this. You wear a sari and go for the interview. I said, this is an interview in the International Water Management Institute. How do I wear a sari and go? I just went with my denim and the t-shirt. I got it. So, it is your performance. Nothing else. So, believe me, I have a 3-year degree because I am from the second batch of Sabaragamu University of Sri Lanka. Right? No one asked my degree whether 3 years or 4 years when I was recruited to University of Srijadharapura. I wonder if they knew at that time, they would have not taken me. Right? They were only interested about my citations and my index, nothing else. So, performance is the secret. So the performance will come when you are always free and, feeling good in your heart. Otherwise, if you are stressed, you will not perform nicely, perform better. So if you are free, if you are, feel good, then only you perform. Right? Whatever you do, doesn't matter whether you are doing research or teaching or administration, doesn't matter. If you feel good only, you will perform better. So this is what this country is not, taking. So people should be satisfied on their job to perform. Right? If the job satisfactory is not there, then the performance is not there. You know, how much of salary increment you do give, doesn't matter. So I don't really care about the salary. I live with this salary, I don't mind. I support 20 kids for their tuition from my salary. I was doing this for years now. So I still keep on doing because I love them learning something new, especially the rural areas where you have good students. So I was going volunteer teaching when I was a bachelor student for Angudakola Palace. So we had a school every school vacation for 7 days. We were teaching them every subject. So there we had a teaching panel and we divided the subjects and taught them. So there are many people now who are engineers and so on from that group. So, that is your satisfaction. You need to find something that satisfies you so that you keep on, working and then your maximum you can take. Okay? All right. Thank you very much for, being here and listening to my story.
Once again, thank you, Professor Nitika, for sharing your life story and so much of other things that we could learn and opening our eyes into very different areas that we might not have even think of. So today's human book session taught us about figuring out our strengths and weaknesses from very early age, how it is going to help us. And when you are a teenager and when you are becoming an adult, how important it is to believe in yourself and prove others that you can do certain things. So there are a lot of things in your story that we could learn, and even the container story, how much of a great person that you can tackle down any challenge that was given to you. For me, it looks like she was the epitome of resilient, I would say, a sort of a definition of how to tackle all the challenges that you have. And also in today's session, she mentioned about how to collaborate with others and to, as scientists and researchers, engineers, how all of us come together when we are building certain things and to make a better and brighter future. So it was a great honor to meet such a awesome personality like you, madam. So for that, we have a small token of appreciation for you. So to present the token of appreciation to our Real Human book today, Professor Nitika Vitana, I cordially invite Dean Faculty of Graduate Studies, Professor Van Bogura, to hand over and present the token of appreciation to our dear Professor Nitika.
I have some books too. Can I give it to you? Oh. Okay. So I have written some books and I have only this one available in my bookshelf. And this one is one of the co-edited books that I have out of 10 co-edited books. These were internationally published from Elsevier, Relay Interscience, and then Springer. So one of the books to your library.
Right, with that, we are reaching the conclusion of today's session. So I believe everything went well today. Everyone learned something out of it. Obviously, when you have a great personality as the human book, and when you have a great audience to ask back-to-back questions, obviously the sessions would be great. There couldn't be anything going wrong. So I once again thank Professor Nitika Vitanagi for coming here, accepting our invitation, and also to the audience for actively engaging and asking questions, for making this an actively and lively session today.